There is a feeling that millions of women are carrying right now, and almost none of them have ever heard it named correctly. It feels like being lost, like emptiness, like a hollow ache that lives somewhere just behind your sternum and won't go away, no matter what you do. And the cruel part, the part that makes it almost unbearable, is that you can't explain it to anyone. Because from the outside, your life looks fine. And so you walk around feeling this thing that has no name, wondering if something is fundamentally wrong with you, wondering if you're ungrateful, wondering if this is just what getting older feels like. I want to offer you a different possibility today. What if you are not lost? What if you are being called?
I am Dr. Celeste Campbell. I'm a neuropsychologist, a burnout survivor, and the founder of the Soulfire Ignition Method. And today, I'm going to walk you through 5 signs that you may think indicate you are lost, but are actually your authentic self clearing the runway for what comes next.
When we say someone is lost, we imply that there is a path they should be on, and they've wandered away from it, that they've made a wrong turn somewhere, and the goal is to find their way back. But what I see clinically in my practice and in my own life is something completely different. What we call lost is almost always the feeling of a life that has gotten too small. Not that there is no container, not that you have failed, but that who you are now, who you are actually becoming, can no longer fit inside the life that has been containing you. And that feeling of not fitting, that persistent, hollow, aching sense that something is wrong, that is not a malfunction. That is information. A caterpillar inside the chrysalis doesn't know it's becoming a butterfly. It just knows that everything it was has dissolved. That terrifying not knowing, that is not the end of its story. It is the transformation itself. What you are calling lost might be your chrysalis.
Hold that image. Now let me show you the 5 signs. Sign number 1. Your old life fits like clothes you have outgrown, but you can still button them.
Your old life technically fits. You can still do it. You still get up in the morning, you still meet your obligations, you still show up for your work, your family, whoever needs you. But somewhere along the way, the life that used to feel like yours started to feel like a costume, like you're performing a role that used to be you, and now you're just very good at playing the part. You go through the motions, and then you come home, or sometimes you're right in the middle of your day and you feel it, that hollow, not rightness, that this is technically my life, but I don't recognize myself in it. You try to shake it off. You remind yourself to be grateful. You tell yourself you're overthinking. Well, I want to tell you what I tell every woman who describes this to me in my practice. That feeling is not ingratitude. It is not instability. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is the feeling of identity evolution. Your authentic self, the one underneath all of the roles, all of the obligations, all the years of being what everyone else needed you to be, she has grown. She has gotten larger than the life currently containing her. And the friction you're feeling, that is her, knocking, asking for more room.
Sign number 2. You are successful by every external measure and completely empty inside.
You have done everything right. The career, the credentials, the family, the respect, the achievements. Whatever the version of success looked like that you were handed, you built it. And you feel hollow. There is a persistent emptiness where fulfillment was supposed to live. And the most disorienting part, the part that makes this specific experience so painful, is that you cannot explain it to anyone. Because you look successful. Because you are successful. And so the narrative becomes, I have everything I'm supposed to have. Why am I not happy? There must be something wrong with me. And I need you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. Here is what is actually happening. Your brain has a reward circuit centered in a region called the nucleus accumbens that releases dopamine when you pursue goals that are intrinsically meaningful, that are genuinely aligned with your authentic values. When we pursue externally defined success, when we achieve what we were told to achieve rather than what actually lights us up, that reward circuit under-responds, regardless of how impressive the achievement is. The emptiness you feel is not a character flaw. It is neurochemical feedback. Your brain, your brilliant, honest, exquisitely accurate brain, is telling you that what you have been building for everyone else is not the same as what you were built for. The hollow ache is not ingratitude. It is your soul telling you it needs to be fed with something more authentic than achievement.
Sign number 3. You feel a persistent restlessness, and it points somewhere.
There is a restlessness you can't seem to shake. You've tried to calm it. You've tried to ignore it. You've tried to outrun it with productivity, with Netflix, with wine, with the next thing on the to-do list. It always comes back. There is a quality of leaning in this restlessness, like something inside you is straining towards something, like there is a direction to the discomfort, even if you can't name where it's pointing, even if you're a little afraid to look. That is not anxiety to be medicated. That is a calling to be listened to. It is not your brain's alarm system. It is your brain's compass.
Sign number 4. Old roles are releasing their grip, and the liberation terrifies you.
Something that used to define you is shifting. Maybe your children have grown up and left home. Maybe a career that consumed you for decades is changing or ending. Maybe a relationship has transformed or dissolved. Maybe the caregiving role that organized your life is no longer needed in the same way. And instead of relief, or alongside the relief, there is something that feels like groundlessness, like you've lost yourself, like you don't know who you are without that role.
That feeling deserves to be honored. The grief of a role ending, even a role that exhausted you, even a role you are glad to be releasing, is real, and it is not weakness to feel it. But I also want to offer you this. You have not lost yourself. You have simply found out how fused your sense of self had become with what you were doing. But here's the thing, the real you, the one with her own desires, her own vision, her own fire that has nothing to do with what she does for other people. She was never the role. She was what the role was covering. The releasing of old roles is not the end of your story. It is the clearing of the stage for what comes next.
Sign 5. A quiet voice keeps saying something, and you keep finding reasons to ignore it. There is a quiet voice. You know the one. It's not the loud voice of anxiety or obligation or all the things you should be doing. It's not the voice of your inner critic, who has plenty to say all day long. It's a different one, quieter, more persistent, more patient. And it keeps saying something. Maybe it surfaces when you drive alone. Maybe it appears in the middle of the night when everything else has finally gone still. Maybe you catch a glimpse of it when you see someone doing something that makes you feel a pang you can't quite name. A mixture of longing and recognition, like that. Something like that. And then, almost immediately, you reach for a reason to dismiss it. It's too late. It's not practical. It's not for someone like me. I wouldn't even know how to begin. People would think I was being ridiculous. Here is what I want to say directly to that voice, the quiet one. The things we dismiss as impractical or too late or not for someone like us, those are almost always the calling. The soul is patient. It will keep saying the same thing in the same quiet way until we are finally willing to stop drowning it out. And what it says, when we get still enough to actually hear it, is almost never what we expect. My quiet voice said, maybe it's time to start your art. I was a neuropsychologist. I was in my 50s. I had no training in performance. I had 1,000 logical reasons to dismiss it, and I almost did. But I didn't.
I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually sit with it before I keep going. What has your quiet voice been saying? Write it down. Whatever it said, or whatever just surfaced when I asked. Not to share with anyone, not to act on today, just to let it exist somewhere outside of your own head. Because the things we write down, we take seriously. And this deserves to be taken seriously.
If you've recognized yourself in any of those 5 signs, even just one of them, whether what disrupted your life was a diagnosis, an injury, a birthday, or a slow accumulation of years spent holding everything together, I want to give you 3 small invitations for today. Not big ones, not a complete life overhaul by Thursday. 3 quiet, honest things you can do today that honor exactly where you are.
Invitation 1, stop trying to fix the feeling. Start listening to it.
The discomfort of being called is not a problem to be solved. It is a signal to be followed. For the next 24 hours, instead of reaching for something to distract yourself from the hollow ache, get curious about it. Ask it, what are you trying to tell me? You don't have to have the answer. Just ask the question, out loud if you can.
Invitation 2, release the timeline.
Being called does not mean you have to have it figured out by next week. It does not mean you need a 5-year plan. The chrysalis doesn't rush. The butterfly doesn't emerge on a schedule. Your next chapter is being constructed right now, in the in-between, in the not yet knowing, in the very discomfort you've been calling lost. Trust the process. Release the deadline.
Invitation 3, say this out loud today.
I am not lost. I am being called. I know that might feel like a stretch right now. I know part of you might hear that and immediately argue back, and that's okay. Say it anyway. Not as toxic positivity, not as a denial of how hard this is, but as a neurological reframe. Because the language we use about our own experience changes which neural pathways get activated. We literally think differently when we speak differently about ourselves. Say it in the mirror. Say it on your drive. Say it when the hollow feeling comes. I am not lost. I am being called. Even if part of you doesn't fully believe it yet, the part that says it is making a path for the part that will. If any of this resonated with you, go ahead and hit subscribe below and join me here each week as we take one small step together. That's all it takes.